Ready now? Good morning, viewers, and this is Vijay Rana with the Q News English. And today, most of the newspapers did not, publish their editions, but we do have Shanarthi Telangana. Thanks to our Shanarthi Telangana team for a beautiful content and today's edition, so that I can be with you. And owing to this, let's start with the headlines for today. And we have MP flurry of that's the news from Madhya Pradesh making it the headlines today. We have a similar situation in Telangana also, as this is also a poll-bound state. But let's start with Madhya Pradesh for now. A flurry of dissent hits BJP and Congress. Those leaders, yesterday the news was BJP announced its list of candidates in Madhya Pradesh, and so did Congress, owing to which a lot of people, a lot of contenders out there who wanted to have their names, or who were waiting to see their names feature in that list, and it did not happen. Owing to various reasons, the parties must have decided on certain criteria and basis. Now let's see, what happened here is protest flared upon Monday within the ranks of both ruling Bharatiya Janata Party and the opposition Congress in Madhya Pradesh, as disgruntled leaders denied assembly poll tickets voiced their disconnect along with their supporters. So all the supporters, they went along with their supporters and they were agitating. So let's see further to this. Similar protests were earlier too, further intensifying the political climate as Madhya Pradesh gears for assembly polls scheduled for November 17th, with the counting of votes set for the 3rd of December. Meanwhile, former State Health Minister Rustam Singh parted ways with the BJP after being denied a ticket for the Mallanna constituency. So a big blow to BJP, the ruling government out there, wherein their Health Minister Rustam Singh says he will not be a part of BJP. Now what is going to be his next step is what we have to wait. Will he be joining Congress, or will he be forming his own party, or will he be contesting as an independent candidate? Let's see what he says. He subsequently joined the Bahujan Samaj Party. Okay, so BSP is the choice that he has made, and which nominated his son for the same seat. Sources close to Singh claimed that 78-year-old leader was dismayed by the party's decision to deny him a ticket due to his age, especially when we have news about Medigata Barrage also, especially when the BJP has fielded a 76-year-old farmer minister, Jayant Mallayya from Damo. The opposition party has been grappling with series of protests since Thursday, when it announced its second list of candidates for 88 seats. The Congress has unveiled names for 229 out of 230 assembly seats in the state. So that's, Madhya Pradesh being one of the largest states, and it has 230 seats. With the candidate for the Amla constituency, Betul, still pending due to delayed acceptance of Deputy Collector's resignation from service. The BJP too has encountered disconnect among rejected aspirants and their supporters in various parts of the state following release of its 5th list of 92 candidates. The ruling party has so far declared candidates for 228 seats, with Guna and Vidisha yet to be finalized. So lot of nominations being there, or a lot of lists that are being published by all the parties featuring various candidates. Now that's the most important task, when it comes to any elections. Now if you do not feature a candidate who is sure shot to win, then it becomes a problem later on. So those analysis is what the parties need to do. So that is why it takes slightly longer time for some parties, and that's one of the most important aspects, people. Analytics play a major role, be it any party, be it BJP, Congress, BRS, or Bahujan Samajwadi Party, Bahujan Samaj Party, they all need to be statistically accurate. Only then the success will be theirs. Now moving on, what do we have here? It's okay, we'll come back to that later on. Israel steps up strikes. So Israel is in no mood to let go the Hamas, but while doing so, it's their right, and they are doing the right thing by hammering Hamas, the terrorist organization. But as expected, as speculated earlier as well, the common Palestinian will be facing a lot of challenges, owing to which, they have actually cut down on all the supplies that they were providing earlier, the medical facilities that were being provided, drinking water that was being provided by Israel, and also the electricity was being provided, they were being taken care of. But now Israel has decided that we will not be taking care of the Palestinians. And to add to their woes, a third small aid convoy from Egypt entered Gaza, where the population of 2.3 million has been running out of food, water and medicine under Israel's 2-week seal. So it's been over 2 weeks. They have sealed all the borders. No aid was reaching them, but then they did allow, who says Israelis are not humanitarians? They are allowing the aid on humanitarian grounds. Point number one, it might not be adequate, but is it a crime to eradicate? What happens is, now let's understand it. If somebody is suffering from cancer and or a disease for which his limbs are to be amputated, let's say a hand needs to be amputated. Now it is not, it's, although half of the hand is okay, but the wrist part is not well, and it's infected. Now if you amputate, you need to amputate the whole hand. It has to be done, although it's a cruel procedure, but that has to be done to treat the ailment completely. Now that cancer is Hamas. I would relate it that when it needs to be eradicated, whatever cost it takes. But again, we are all human beings. If you see a child, dying because of lack of food or water, that's something that none of us are in favor of. So even Israel is not in favor of that, and aid is being sent, but it is very, very limited. One threat that they have is that these terrorists might also loot the aid that is being provided. So they would also want, if the normal population, the civilians are suffering, so will be the terrorists. They will also be suffering, and they would also want some water, and they would also want this part of the aid, which Israel does not want to happen. Now Israel ramped up its airstrike on Monday in Gaza, where the death toll was rising rapidly, and the United States advised Israel to delay an expected ground invasion. So they are all set for a massive ground invasion. More than 3 lakh soldiers have actually joined them, and in fact, there was also, so US is asking them to delay this ground invasion so that they get some more time to negotiate the release of hostages taken by Hamas militants. So they are trying to negotiate with the militants, not militants, it's not the right word for them to be used. They are not the militants, they are the terrorists. Militants and terrorists. Now there is a distinction between these two words, and there is no thin line. It's a strong distinction between usage of the word militant and terrorist. Why is US not calling them terrorists? A third small aid convoy from Egypt entered into Gaza. But the point, I always ponder is, I remember in 1972 when when Pakistan was causing a lot of atrocities out there, in the East Pakistan then, and Bangladesh now. Now India took a stance. There were, lakhs and lakhs of refugees that moved in from Bangladesh to India. And they were, Indira Gandhi at that point in time made arrangements for their stay, their food, their rehabilitation, they were provided shelters, be it in the form of tents, but still India was also economically not very strong then as it is now in today's times. But still India, provided shelter to their neighboring country. East Pakistanis were very much present in India at that point in time. Then a strategy was planned that, we will support these people who have come from East Pakistan. But in case of Palestinians, why no neighboring country is ready to support them? Despite, on one hand they call it a Muslim brotherhood when it comes to supporting of terrorist Hamas. We have different countries who support Hamas, who are in favor of Hamas. They supply, arms and ammunition to them. Why don't they actually help? This is where the Muslim Brotherhood needs to come into picture. They need to allow these people to actually be there for some time. Let Israel complete the eradication of a terrorist group. This is where you should stand in solidarity with your neighboring countries, those 5 Muslim nations which keep attacking Israel time and again to wipe this entire community from the face of earth. It is not about the piece of land. The area that Israel occupies is of no relevance actually. It's not about the land. It's more about the religion. And today you are not supporting your own brothers. That is surprising to see. Now, with Israel still barring entry of fuel, the UN said its distribution of aid would grind to a halt within days when it can no longer fuel its trucks. Meanwhile, Gaza's hospitals are grappling to sustain their generators, vital for powering life-saving medical equipment and incubators for premature infants. Now, what happens is, if a baby is born, usually it takes 9 months. There is a different life cycle of pregnancy for different species. For human beings, it is 9 months. Now, if a baby is born in the 7th month due to various reasons, it happens. It does happen, in many cases. Now, that baby is kept in an incubator, which provides, the artificial kind of structure for the baby to survive. And that is powered by electricity. This is what they are referring to. Now, newborn babies or premature newborn babies will face challenges if there is no electricity to power the incubator, or there is no fuel to power the generator that will produce electricity to allow that supply of oxygen. Now, that is what they are referring to. In addition, heavy airstrikes have caused extensive damage to buildings across Gaza, even in areas where Palestinians were advised to seek refuge. Tragically, these airstrikes have led to the loss of hundreds of lives and sent a new wave of wounded individuals to already overwhelmed hospitals. So there were already a lot of people, owing to these airstrikes, as you can see in the picture also. They have actually, the entire sky has turned black. That's the level of pounding that has been done by Israel, owing to the atrocities, owing to those 5. Now, similar scenario was there in Israel when 5,000 rockets were fired from the Gaza Strip, which is now being pounded. Now, in a way, it is giving them a treat of their own medicine. How it feels when all of a sudden they know that this is going to happen. Israelis did not even know, and they had to welcome those 5,000 missiles or rockets that were fired at them. Now, there also a lot of people died, nearly 1,000 people, and a lot of them were kids. Nobody was spared. A rocket would not know that it's a civilian, and they've targeted the civilian areas. Now, this is what happens when you target civilians. They will also get to know. But Hamas will not be impacted by this. They are terrorists. They wanted this to happen. They were never in favor of Palestinians. Today, which Hamas group is actually supporting? Are they coming out? Are they laying down their arms, stating that no, please stop the pounding, we surrender? They are not doing that. They are ready to let their own people die, they are ready to, they are okay to see. Our heart is, is bleeding for the kids out there. We feel USA is standing, USA is trying to caution Israel that, let there be some, Israel is letting the aid in, might be a small quantity, but they are letting it in. What about Hamas? They were fighting for Palestinians. That's what they say. They want themselves to be called as militants. Where is the humanity? Why they are not actually standing for the Palestinians? Why they are not laying down their arms? Moving on, we have a woman with her face smeared with blood wept while holding the hand of a deceased family member. The streets were strewn with at least 3 lifeless bodies, one lying in grey stream of water. Amidst these developments, Israelis' intentions of launching a ground offensive in Gaza to eliminate Hamas following their earlier incursion on October 7th into southern Israeli communities have raised concerns about the potential for the conflict to spill beyond Gaza and Israel. Iranian-backed fighters. Now, Iran is backing the fighters, not the Palestinians. Point to be noted here. Iranian-backed fighters in the region. It is being backed. Fighters are being backed by Iran. Why not the Palestinians? Why Iran is not allowing these civilians, these Palestinians in their country? Why don't they give them refuge? You have the money to support the terrorist groups, but you don't want to support the common man, the Palestinian. This is what the Iran stand is. Iranian-backed fighters, Iranian-backed terrorists in the region are warning of possible escalation, including targeting of US forces deployed in the Middle East. So they say we will also target the US forces, owing to which we have a comment here. He says, this is not what we want. Antony Blinken, the Secretary of State, says, this is not what we want, this is not what we are looking for. We don't want escalation, we don't want to see our forces or our personnel come under fire. But if that happens, we are ready for it. What we are seeing is a prospect of significant escalation of attacks on our troops and our people throughout the region. So he has given a clear-cut warning to Iran or the Iran-backed terrorist groups. If you target our groups, we are prepared for it. Then Iran is also going to face the fury of United States of America. What about the civilians then? Why is Iran, people should actually request Iran not to perpetrate these crimes or not to support these terrorist groups again. So that should be the call. There should be protests against Iran. It is not about Israel, which is defending itself, which wants to cure that cancer forever. They are eradicating terrorists created by countries like Iran. So Iran is the country that actually needs to be, there should be protests against Iran. They should actually support all these civilians, 2.3 million people. Is it a joke? They are all stranded out there. What are the neighboring countries doing? And they call themselves Muslim Brotherhood. Religion Islam is known to support. Why are they not extending support to their Muslim brothers? That's a big question to ask. Why no neighboring country is allowing them inside? Why they are not supporting? It's only 20 lakh people, and in today's world, India is ready to send support. India is ready to send, they have already sent, actually, we saw in day before yesterday's news. India has sent aid, but will it reach the people? No, because they are in the war zone. Let these civilians be out of the war zone, welcome them, but no country has opened their borders for these Palestinians. So that is the reason, and these are the countries behind that. Now moving on, so what we have here is 20 killed in Dhaka train collision. Dhaka, that's in Bangladesh. So there was a collision that happened in Bangladesh, train collision, owing to which at least 20 persons were killed while 50 others were injured after a cargo train collided with a passenger train at Upazila outskirts of Dhaka in Bangladesh. Really tragic, this kind of disaster anywhere it happens. And train, is considered to be one of the safest modes of transport. And the logic is, the bigger the vehicle that you are traveling in, the safer you are. So the safest mode of transport is the air travel that you do. So aeroplane is considered to be the safest mode of transport, followed by train. It is one of the safest modes of transport. And if this happens, people, anybody, when you are traveling by train, you are assured that you will not be meeting with any accident because it runs on one track. But it is very difficult to manage. It's a network that needs to be managed of different trains coming from different directions, crossings. Some are manned crossing, manually done at different places. Some are controlled by the computers also. One glitch can lead to a disaster, and that's what has happened there. Exact reason, I don't know. The collision took place after two rear coaches of the Dhaka bound Guduhalli Express passenger train was hit by a cargo train heading to Chattogram, Azizul Haq Rajan. Meanwhile, police officials said more people are still trapped under the debris. And moving on, let's see what we have. Medigadda panel to probe sinking. Now, Medigadda barrage, people, I've always been, since the very first day I was researching on Kaleshwaram project. But what I read about the project was it is world's biggest lift irrigation program. Now, what do we mean by lift irrigation program? Now, water is at a low level. Okay, let's say water is here, and you want to irrigate an area which is here, and the distance is really wide apart. Now, this was the task, and this has never been done before in the history of engineering. So this task was taken up and barrages were built. Now, barrages, we can also say dams. Now, barrage is a construction constructed by cement, and the water is stopped behind a barrage, and then it is let out. And this water that gets filled in these barrages is pumped by some motors. They use heavy motors that are used to pump the water from here. From the low level, the water is pumped to a slightly higher level, then more higher, then more higher. And this is how the water goes to the area which is upwards. So that is the logic of lift irrigation, owing to which, now if there is a flaw in the construction, if one barrage, and once you create a barrage, there is a lot of water. Let's say this is a barrage, this is a dam that has been constructed, water is here. Now, if this barrage breaks, there will be areas, around that particular vicinity where the barrage was constructed. All those areas will be flooded. There will be devastation to a level that is unimaginable. If a barrage is filled with water and it breaks, what happens if a dam breaks? Imagine what is the amount of water that would, it will be kind of a tsunami that will come. So that is what is the state of affairs over here. And the National Dam Safety Authority, NDSA, constituted a 6-member committee to examine the reasons for sinking of the piers of the Medigadda barrage of Kaleshwaram project in Telangana. The pillars numbering 15 to 20 of 6 to 8 blocks of the Medigadda barrage of the Kaleshwaram project had reportedly sunken down on the night of 21/10/2023. See, now this is really tragic, although the government claims it to be the biggest. Yes, indeed, it is an engineering marvel. It is an engineering marvel. But I was also going through the cost and benefit analysis of this project, which happens to be a negative indicator. And they say the amount of electricity, the amount spent on electricity that will be used to, that will be used to operate these pumps to lift the water is more than the cost of the yield that definitely farmers will get water, but the yield that they will produce, the cost of it is less than the amount of electricity that has been used. So I spent, let's say, 10 rupees of electricity, and my the produce that is going to be there is 8 rupees only. It's a loss-making exercise. Why would anybody want to complete this scheme just to have a world record against their name, that this is the world's biggest engineering marvel? If that is the case, let's present it that way. We cannot present it as something beneficial to the farmers. It is beneficial, definitely. A lot of people will receive drinking water, they will receive water for irrigation, but at what cost? If I'm a person and I go on a bicycle and I earn 100 rupees per month. The situation is like that, and you give me a car and say, okay, now you go in a car wherein every day I have to put up fuel of 10 rupees. Will I be able to sustain for a month? What will I do with that car? When my income is 100 rupees, my expense will be somewhere around 300 rupees. What am I going to do? Will I be able to travel in that car, or will it make any sense for me to have that car? Or should I actually continue to go on a cycle, and if you add another 100 rupees to my salary, I'll be happy. So that is the state of affairs here, and now a lot of lives have been put at risk. There were certain norms also that were not followed. Why this project was delayed? I studied the reasons also for that, and no other source, Wikipedia tells you everything. So I went to Wikipedia, I just, and let me substantiate it by using Wikipedia right here, right now in front of all of you. So there is a saying in Hindi कि पढ़े लिखे को फारसी क्या, हाथ कंगन को आरसी क्या. That's or हाथ कंगन को आरसी क्या, पढ़े लिखे को फारसी क्या. That's how you say it in Hindi. So let's see it here. And let me explain. Yeah, in fact, I did not see who all have joined us. I'll do that as well. Where is YouTube? Let me wish our viewers also, and let me have their say also in this as to what do they think should we be discussing. Stay fit on the inside, fab on the outside. All right, so we have Ali Nandini along with Ravi Chandra. Sorry, man. No performance, says Ravi Chandra, and good morning comes in from Vishwesh, and Richard is also here. Oh yeah, and also very, very happy Dussehra to everyone, to all the viewers of Q News English. And we have Mahakali also wishing us all a good morning. And we have a Vishwa leader says hi. Hello Vishwa, welcome to our stream. And Ravichandar says no performance. So Ravichandar, what exactly do you want me to do to enhance my performance? Please share your comments as well. Please share in detail, so I'll read that out as well for you. Somebody said something. We have Masiha also is here along with Pawan, wishing us all a very good morning. So here we go. The Kaleshwaram project, top stories, and I do not see Wikipedia anywhere. Where is my favorite Wikipedia? There is Wikipedia. All right, so it's a multi-purpose irrigation project on Godavari River in Kaleshwaram, Bhupalli in Telangana, India. Currently the world's largest multi-stage lift irrigation project. Its farthest upstream influence at the confluence of the Pranhita and the Godavari rivers. So everything said and done. Let's say project details are also here, and the cost benefit analysis will also be here. So this is where I did most of my reading from. So project economics. Let's go through this. These are the economics. The project was mainly funded with the money obtained through loans. A very important line, people. If you invest this money, this amount, more than 1 lakh crore was taken as a loan. All right. So that means the entire population of Telangana is in debts. That's what it means. Assuming at an, let's say, and assuming at an existing loan of rupees 80,000 crore at an interest rate of 6% that needs to be paid up over a period of 30 years, the annual loan repayment charge is about 5,760 crores. So that's the repayment charge, that's the interest that we have to pay. Therefore, the total cost of irrigation per acre is approximately 85,000 rupees per year. So that is the cost that is going to be, that is the effective cost of irrigating the land per acre. 1 acre of land will cost you 85,000 rupees in an year to be irrigated. On the other hand, the net profit from the cultivation of main crop, that is paddy, could be expected to be around 40,000 rupees per acre. It's almost half of what has been invested, what is going to be. So if you cultivate a land of 1 acre, it will cost you 85,000. And after cultivation, the yield that you will have, the paddy that you will grow, will fetch you 40,000 rupees. So straight away there is a loss of 45,000 rupees per year. That is why it is considered as not a viable project. Now these numbers raise question about the financial viability of the project. A recent report by the Comptroller and Auditor General of India, CAG, has pointed out that the cost to benefit ratio of the project is 1:0.075. And in contrast to the state government's claim, now this is what the central government had to say, that the cost benefit ratio is 1:0.75, which is a loss making ratio, by the way, and the government claims it to be 1:1.5. Now that's a profit making ratio. They say we will earn more than 50% of profit. In addition, by taking into account the escalated cost for lifting the third TMC, the ratio comes down to 1:52. 1:0.52. So that is, really astonishing as to how can somebody approve this kind of a plan with these financials. According to the report, the annual operational cost for irrigating an acre of land is rupees 46,364 crores. The annual electricity cost is around 10,374 crores. Despite the negative report by CAG, the financial viability, the government has made no effort to refute the report. So no efforts were made to they said it's okay. Even if we are making losses, we'll go ahead with this. And here are the violations, environmental law violation. Now these are the points that clearly, we can go through this also. The NGT, India's Court for Environmental Issues, directed Telangana's government to halt work on KPIL, that's Kaleshwaram Lift Irrigation Project, except the drinking water supply component. A petition had been filed by a farmer from Siddipet district whose land was affected by KLIP. The National Green Tribunal found on hearing his petition that the environmental clearances for KLIP had not been obtained. Now what kind of a project is this on which we have spent more than 1 lakh crore, but still the required documentation work was also not complete. That's the basic work that needs to be done before launching any project. Even that was not done, and today what we witness is a breach in the barrage which can be very, very devastating if not rectified on time. First of all, the need for rectification should not have risen at the first place. Now, all right, but it had granted by the Union Government of India after work on the project had already begun by Telangana government. The National Green Tribunal has directed the Indian government's Ministry of Environment, Forests and Climate Change to constitute a committee to investigate the illegally granted clearances and file a report with them within 6 months. So there were a lot of allegations also that were put by the National Green Tribunal, owing to which there was a delay as well. So it was again, the work was not done properly, owing to which the project was halted. There was no party involved. There was no party involved. If today the ruling government says that it's the opposition that caused the delay in Kaleshwaram project, it was not the opposition. It was the irregularities in the project. The way it was planned was not proper. A mega project or a world's #1 project was planned with irregularities. Now, can you even imagine, we have seen flawless execution done by ISRO when it comes to different missions. Their execution is flawless. That is how you create world records, not like this with, even, now imagine this amount, if 1 lakh crore would have been given to ISRO, what wonders they would have done. They would have actually sent a man to Mars or Moon as well with this amount of money. Also, let's move on. What did I just see here? We have somebody here featuring today in our Shanarthi Telangana, and giving a voice to the voiceless is the article. Now, I get to spend a lot of time with Mallanna these days since I'm out here in Hyderabad. If he's in studios, I would love to, have him here. Now, we were discussing, the other day about, I was just asking various questions randomly to him. So I asked him, you bring out, or you discuss these issues, you raise concerns about everybody, about common man, and you question the government. So there are a lot of cases also that are put up against you. Does that not scare you? Because, as a common man, if I see a policeman or I see a cop, I'm not comfortable. Although I might have, if I'm driving a car, I'll have my license, I'll have every document possible, I have my registration, everything. But still I get scared, I'll say, "Arey yaar, police wala aa gaya." So I asked him this question. So you had your encounters with the cops as well. So did you not get scared? You know what his answer was? If I get scared, what will happen to the common man for whom I'm standing here? So I said, okay, so you stand for a common man, but what about you? What if something happens? Then he said, I need to be fearless when I'm taking people's issues, and I really enjoy. I said, don't you feel scared? Don't you feel worried about it? He is one man who is, who is not scared of the system. He is not scared of the system. He will take on anybody, and he likes doing it. I said, you don't get tired doing this throughout the day. You are working for the people. He says, this is my work and I enjoy my work. This is my passion and I enjoy my passion. I don't get tired while I'm working for the people. Owing to which, and if you have followed Shanarthi Telangana, in yesterday's telecast, he is actually organizing 10 buses. You can also volunteer people to go to Karnataka, 10 different places. You go there, we will meet the CM as well, and we will question as to how successful were the guarantees that the government had given them before the elections, and post coming to power, how they have implemented, for everybody to see. Because the news in the air is, or the talk of the town is, that the government in Karnataka was not able to fulfill their promises. So let's do a reality check. He has gone to that extent, and let's see what the article has to say about him. I'll have many more thoughts, many more sharings with you when I go back to Karnataka, or during our small interactions like these. So I'll share what all talks we had. So thank you so much, Mallanna, for all the time that you give me. Now, after the formation of the state of Telangana, in response to widespread public demand. Now, there is a scenario, people, that is being explained here. Telangana is a newly formed state. There were a lot of sacrifices made by different people, made by a lot of people, in fact. And after the state was formed, what about the politics that went on? Let's see So that scenario has to be unveiled first of all. Now, the political landscape underwent a significant transformation. Opposition parties seemed to fade into background as the Telangana Rashtriya Samiti, which is now known as Bharatiya Rashtriya Samiti, despite winning mere 63 seats, assumed power as the inaugural government. This administration cleverly presented welfare programs as development initiatives. So these are all welfare programs. It is the responsibility of your state government to launch these programs for the benefit of a common man. But they were launched as development programs and the credit was taken, effectively creating an illusion of a prosperous Telangana. In a span of just 2 years, the common people of Telangana found themselves caught in the political acrobatics of the Chief Minister, K. Chandrasekhar Rao. Now, opposition party legislators jumped ship to join the BRS government. So, a lot of people from the opposition parties, be it the Congress or be it the BJP, they also joined hands with BRS to secure development projects for their constituencies. Now, they also wanted these projects for their particular constituencies, but these projects were often driven by self-interest. From the grassroots level to the highest echelons of leadership, representatives and activists from various political backgrounds rallied behind TRS. Now, all these people rallied behind TRS, and KCR showcased a remarkable ability to outmaneuver his staunchest opponents with the political maneuvering, making it clear that the fate of Telangana was tightly controlled by a selected few. Opposition voices were conspicuously absent. There was nobody to question the BRS government, but then a man rose from the crowd, and he was none other than our very own Mallanna. And how did he rise is what we are going to learn now. Opposition voices were conspicuously absent. There was an alarming absence of checks and balances. It was during the period that Teenmar Mallanna emerged as the true voice of opposition, when the ruling government faced growing criticism for its actions. And that's what is the role of opposition in our democracy. Even if a party loses, they sit in the opposition, they have the right and they should be questioning the government on various activities that are taken up. Now, how he did that was he made waves on social media through his engaging Facebook live programs and launched the YouTube channel Q News, becoming the primary platform for dissenting voices in Telangana. In a climate where opposition seemed non-existent, Teenmar Mallanna boldly declared himself an adversary to the ruling establishment. His use of Telangana dialect, clever humor and sharp wit exposed the contradiction. Now, this is what people expect me to do, but that's Mallanna. That's Mallanna for you people. He will be witty as well. His humor is also there, he has a sense of humor as well. That's what appeals to the people, and the way he takes on the ruling party is something that is unimaginable. And when others hesitated to speak out, Teenmar Mallanna was the first to publicly ridicule the king and his administration, using humor as a potent weapon. Now Teenmar Mallanna emerged as a contemporary revolutionary who kept those in power on their toes with his humor and biting satire. Needless to say, the king could no longer ignore his presence. So with that, people, I think it's time for me. It's already 7:56 and it's time for me to hand over the baton to Mallanna and the team. So with that, I would like to call this a day, and very happy Dussehra to everybody. Thank you so much, people, for tuning in. Jai Hind.